All right, folks, it is scooter registration renewal day. This really sneaks up on you. Actually, Lon's little twist and go scooter back here expired, I think, 2 weeks ago. It's before Songkran. It's kind of a hectic time of year. 2 or 3 weeks ago. Anyway, I reminded her. She checked, double checked, and said, yeah, it's expired. So that's your registration. That's your sticker. If you get pulled over, that needs to be current, of course. Anyway, we're here renewing it. You got to come to a place, any of these inspection stations. Once I think it's 5 years old, you have to get it inspected. That's part of the re-registration process. So we'll do an inspection. We'll look and see what they're going to look at, the things they're going to look at, because that's kind of what this is about. After here, we're going to do some used scooter shopping. This guy's about 16 years old. It's exactly 16 years old. It's 2009. Honda 125 PCX. You don't even see a 125 PCX anymore. They went to 150, and then now they're all 160s. And anyway, it's quite archaic for its brand. So we're going to look, and I will kind of walk you through some things that I look for when buying used. The big thing is verifying the age. That's easy enough on the registration, but what about the mileage? Is it the right mileage? They can put a lot of miles on a little scooter in a short amount of time here, doing delivery work, things like that. You never know if they're saying, oh, it's only 5,000 kilometers, 2 years old with 5,000 kilometers. A little old lady had it. She only drove it to church on Sundays. Whatever. I don't know that they would say that, but you want to make sure. I'm going to show you how to mitigate against getting something that is much more use and hours and miles on it than what they're presenting. And we'll see, we'll start here by taking a little education from the inspection station, see what they look for.
So at the end of the day, this is simply a safety inspection for the roadworthiness. They'll look at the tread on the tires, make sure the lights work, the horn blows, that kind of thing, the blinkers blink, or the indicators, if you so call them that. But it doesn't really mean that the bike is mechanically sound, but it does meet the minimum safety requirements. So they'll look at all that, and your mileage may vary. Some of these shops look more in depth than others, to be quite honest. Ours on this day really didn't go too much into depth, but they are supposed to do an emissions and sound checks. This is pollution, both of I guess regular pollution, fluorocarbons, hydrocarbons, that kind of thing, as well as noise pollution. You see the microphone there. It's kind of about a foot or so off the tip of the exhaust nozzle there at a jaunty angle. It's not getting the direct blast of the exhaust. It's the proper way to check it. It's got to be below 95 decibels at between 4,000 and 5,000 RPM. So no problem there. And everything checked out on this day. The total cost, a little over 700 baht to renew for another year. All right, with that done, let's go out and kick some tires.
So we're in downtown Rayong looking at used bikes. This place has several dozen used bikes, all kinds, Yamahas, Hondas, there's GPX. There's a couple interesting bikes here. They actually have two of them. This is a bike. You could look everywhere and never find this bike. It's made by Baja, and it's the NS200. It's a very standard, kind of just a naked standard bike. Good for everyday riding, decent power. They're only about 2 years old with 4,000 kilometers on them, so they say. For like 28,000 baht. It's cheap transportation. It's very cheap transportation, and 200 cc's with a proper gearbox transmission. That's probably enough to do a little bit of travel with around town and a little bit of travel. I don't know if I'd take it up to Chiang Mai or anything like that, but you know, an hour away or something on the road, I think you could get by with this. I have a little bit better of experience on that than you would a twist and go 125 or 150. But anyway. This is like the high mileage scooter dealership. I see things that are 2 years old with 70,000 kilometers on it. I told you, they can put a lot of kilometers, a lot of miles on these bikes quick. This Scoopy behind me, 56,000 kilometers on that. Now they have these all marked with the price, the year, the price, the mileage. I'm gonna go through, it is hot in here. I'm dripping sweat. It's like a sauna. There's no air, there's no fan, and outside it's on the main road. You can see the cars going by. It's very loud. But I've shot some video here, and we're going to go and get something to eat. I'm going to walk you through and do a checklist of everything that I look at. Because just because something has 56,000 kilometers on it, it is what it is. It still might fit the bill. The price might be right. But we'll go through here, and I'll tell you all the things that I look at. The older it is and the more mileage it has, the more variables it also has. So the checklist is basically for a 1 to 2 year old scooter that maybe you buy from a private individual. Maybe you're buying it from another foreigner, and there's only one name in the green book anyway, and you can pretty much rest assured he's not been driving for Grab or Food Panda, or Rip Food Panda, by the way. They're out of business. Just got the email the other day. Or I don't know, the Kerry Express or one of these delivery services. If a foreigner has it, it's probably been parked at their condo or at their house or whatever. And but that doesn't mean that they didn't pay too much for it. It doesn't mean that they're not asking too much for it. So we'll go over some valuations, a little checklist for evaluations and for a quick appraisal to kind of see if the condition and the mileage all jives with what you're seeing.
So a short but effective checklist here. I mean, first of all, just document any obvious damage. Take a picture, take a video, look at the bike from 3, 4, 10 feet away, see what you see what jumps out at you, and take a picture of that, or at least write it on a notepad, do something, because you'll want to refer back to that later in the process. And check the price, make sure it's in your price range and all that. Number 2, though, I guess, is then we want to go over the leading edge, what I call the leading edge. That's the edge of the handlebars at the grips there, the edge of the brake levers, any of the levers, the edge of the mirror, things that will hit the ground first. So when this gets dumped, those are the areas that will take the first damage, definitely. So it could be the cover of the exhaust as well. And then number 3, examine all the touch points. There are 3 main places your body comes in contact with the scooter. That's the grips for your hands, the floorboards for your feet, and the seat for your bum. So check all those. I mean, that's where the wear and tear is going to be most evident. Is it high mileage with low wear and tear, or is it low mileage with high wear and tear? Sometimes they don't seem to jive, especially in the case up here of this one. Also, check for fluid leaks. Go underneath, squat down, underneath, see if there's any oil. Not supposed to be any kind of drippity drop. I mean, this isn't a 1974 Ford you're looking at here. These Japanese motorbikes, not supposed to leak a drop. So there you go. They don't come with the factory oil leak like the cars 50 years ago. And number 5, check the price as compared to age and mileage. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a list for that as well, a little bit of a cheat sheet for that as well, because the age is one thing, the mileage is another. And then, of course, the price still another. This one, only 17% less than a new bike of its same kind, but it's 2 years old with 70,000 kilometers.
So one thing I didn't show you at this shop is there's a repair garage right next to it. It's attached to it. So it's the same people. And they've got a big repair business, motorbike repair business going on, which means when they get motorbikes in, they can repair them. They can refurbish them. And that's the thing. With all this I'm telling you, it's very easy to make a worn out bike look almost new. The grips, very easy to replace the grips, very cheap. New mirrors, almost every bike in that shop has new mirrors. Here again, very cheap. If you're getting the factory mirrors, a little bit more expensive, but a lot of times there's generic mirrors you can buy that look almost as good for very, very cheap. Covering the seat, very cheap, especially if you're the one doing the work. The material is very, very cheap. So you cover the seat, put on new grips, put on new mirrors, wax the paint, you clean the paint, maybe a little compound and wax, maybe new tires. The bike can look almost new. So that's how they take a 2-year, 3-year-old bike with high mileage, 70,000 kilometers almost, and make it look new. It's definitely got new grips, new mirrors. I think they've recovered the seat, etc. Or maybe they just buy a new seat. You could just get a new seat for these common models like Yamaha Fin, Honda Wave, could just be an all-new seat. And when you look at that and you see the newness, that seat is fresh, not a stitch out of place, and the grips look like they've never been touched. The other thing is the floor panels, the floorboards, although a Honda Fin doesn't have floor panels like a Twist and Go does. But the rubberized inserts, they're inserts that you put your feet on. Those plastic or rubber ones, here again, very cheap. It's things you can do and spend a couple $1,000 baht and make the bike look practically new. And I think that's one thing that's going on at this shop.
So just a quick look. There's 4 Filanos up here. Lana likes these bikes. It's a little bit in the old Vespa Lambretta type theme. It's a Yamaha bike, but they're kind of in that style. So maybe some styling cues borrowed from that. But you got a teal one, a black, and 2 reds. And wow, you can really see the difference in a lot of things that we're talking about, just in grips and hand grips. This guy right here has one of the lower mileages, 18,000, but the hand grips are trashed. They're terrible. Where the one next to it with 22,000 and the other one, they look like they got brand new grips. Also, the floorboards look brand new here. The paint looks brand new here. This is an aftermarket seat. This guy, the aftermarket mirrors, they're not the original mirrors. The mirrors have a painted finish where these have a matte finish. This thing has been totally redone. Why? Maybe it was really ruined. Maybe it's more miles on that than what it's saying, or maybe it was in some kind of accident. I don't know. But this guy here, everything has been redone. It looks to be probably the best out of the four, but it's the worst out of the four. Probably the best one is the red one. I think that's at least an honest mileage. They're all about the same price. They're all only 2 to 3 years old. I think the prices in here are high. In my opinion, all of these bikes are worth half what a new one costs, and all of them are listed at less than 20% off of what a new, about 20%. Okay, to do rent the bikes as well. I like places that let you rent the bike before you buy it. It's like 300 baht a day to rent the bike. And I think in the case of a couple of these, if you were wanting a Fino, the Yamaha Fino, I might have said Filano, I think it's a Fino, yeah. It's the Grand Filano, the Fino. These are all Finos. Anyway, if you want the bike, you want a Fino, maybe rent one first. But this is a real minefield in here with these 4 miles. If you really look at them all close, you'll see they all have issues. And you're left wondering, what's the real mileage of these, you know? Especially when you look at some of them here, and they're only a year or two old with 50 to 70,000 kilometers. The ones with 18 and 20, well, they could also have 50 to 70. Have they been painted up? New seats, new floorboards, have they been made up to look and present like they are newish bikes?
The other thing is, well, you might ask, well, who would pay only 17% less than a new model for one that's 2-3 years old and half worn out? Well, there are people that would do that, because whatever is preventing them from getting the new one disappears at this shop. That might be a high down payment. Maybe they need to come up with 10,000 baht down or something like that. Maybe at this shop they don't have to. Maybe they can't get the financing. They just can't get approved at this shop. Maybe the approval process is much easier. Maybe they're floating the note. So it's one of those things, maybe they're actually getting something a little older and paying too much for it just for ease and convenience, because maybe their credit shot, or they just can't come up with a down payment or whatever. So a couple of those dynamics going on at the shop, and you add that up and you get a product like this, a high mileage vehicle that looks practically new at kind of an ostentatious price. We'll go back in. I'm going to show you a little bit of a valuation table that I've made. I wish there was I wish there was a book and you could flip and find your model of scooter in the book and look it up in the year and the mileage and tell you how much it's worth. It doesn't exist here, but it is only worth what somebody's willing to pay. And I always keep in mind, what are they going to give you if you trade that in? So if you buy a scooter from somebody, maybe it's your neighbor down the hall in your condo, he's selling a 2-year-old scooter so he can get a new one. If you buy that and then don't like it and trade it in 2 or 3 weeks, what are they going to give you for it? So the prices I'm going to give you aren't retail, they're not wholesale, they're really kind of where you want to be, and won't be hurt too bad. You're still going to get less if you trade it in. You can take about a year off of the values I'm giving you. If it's a 2-year-old, go to the 3-year-old price. That's probably what a dealer will give you. So keeping that in mind. And also, a lot of times people don't realize, and everybody wants too much for their sellers want to ask high and buyers want to come in low. That's just the way it is. So this is from experience and seeing what price do you need to be in at to where you don't get hurt too bad. That's what it's about.
Yeah, another thing you'll find, look at this plastic on the gauge panel here. Just the sun does that. The time does that, not mileage. So a lot of times you'll see a newer bike with high mileage and it looks still okay, but then you'll get an older bike regardless of the mileage and it'll look like this one. So always look out for that. They can be replaced. Whole gauge pods can be replaced. Keep that in mind. And sometimes you might erase 30, 40,000 kilometers if somebody changes their entire gauge pod. So we'll go and get that meal like I was talking about, and we'll go over the valuations. Now, you're going to have to kind of make your own additions and subtractions here based on condition, based on the mileage that the bike has, and maybe based on accessories that it has, various things. But this is what I came up with kind of as a starting point. Of course, a new model, it's 100% cost of new. If it's a year old with less than 10,000 kilometers on it, take 15% off the price of the new one, plus or minus your instinct, like I said, other things regarding condition and accessories, etc. But that's That's about a starting point, 15% off, 25% for 2 years old with less than 20, 40% of less than 30,000 at 3 years old. You're going to find a lot in that category. And then 5 years old and greater, you need to get about half off. It's basically cut in half, almost regardless of the mileage. By the time you get up to the 5-year mark, it should be in half, which some of those were in there. There was a Honda Scoopy in there that sells for about 52, should be selling in there for about 26. They had it all glammed up, and we're asking like 36, 37. So you have to kind of know. So I think that's a good starting point. Anyway, if you have experience with this, and let me know what your experiences have been. Let me know the things that you watch out for when you buy used, scooters or otherwise. And I hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll do something else next time, but for this one, gotta leave it off right here.
And as usual, I'll thank you for watching. And until next time, bye for now.